Carson Palmer, courtesy of FedEx, and I am so excited for his football life Friday night on NFL Network, 8 Eastern Time here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you been, Carson?
Rich, I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, we've been having a debate here, and I'm wondering from an athlete of note such as yourself, we're talking about fans in a game at a stadium wearing a jersey of a team that's not playing in the game, and whether that's a code violation or not. Carson, what do you think?
I'll tell you what. You want to know where that is rampant, and that is in London. We went over there and played against the Rams last year, and 99% of the stadium were wearing other players' jerseys from other teams, and they loved it. They didn't care. They were watching the Rams-Cardinals game wearing a Brian Urlacher jersey, and they didn't care. They loved it, and I don't have a problem with it. I do if you're in the United States and you do it, but if you're in London and you're going to the NFL,
yeah, there you go.
I don't have a problem with it.
There we go.
So this is a domestic rule. Internationally, it's a wonderful thing to look at how the game has grown. But here domestically, Carson, I mean, if you're a fan of a team and you're going to a game and your team's not out there, you can't wear the jersey of a team that's not actually playing in the game to that game?
No, it's a huge faux pas. You can't do that in the States. London, it's cool, but over here, you can't do that.
Thank you, Carson Palmer.
Hold on a second, though. What if let me just dive in here. So let's say when you're playing with Arizona, somebody showed up to your game wearing a Carson Palmer USC jersey. What do you think?
I have absolutely no problem with that. I also have no problem watching a Miami Dolphin versus Jacksonville Jaguars game on TV and seeing a Carson Palmer jersey in the stands. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Right. But if it's Bengals Cardinals and there's a bunch of Seahawks jerseys in the stands.
Problem.
You can't do that. You can't do that on this side of the water. You can't do that.
Major
it's
problem.
Unacceptable.
Wow.
Your ticket should be revoked.
Boom.
Carson Palmer and Chris Brockman.
Lockstep. Everyone out there, take the L.
Right here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you been, Carson? How's life?
Things are good. Things are good. I'm in New York City right now, doing a bunch of stops at a bunch of different media outlets. I'm honored and excited to be the spokesperson for FedEx this year and the Air and Ground Awards. I was fortunate enough to win 2 of those throughout the years for the final year. But I'm here talking up the each week FedEx Air and Ground winners, which FedEx is donating $2,000 for the air winner and $2,000 for the ground winner each week. You can log on NFL.com/FedEx. You can vote on Twitter. You can vote on Facebook. And the best part about it is that money goes to the USO. And the USO, what they're doing is they're helping our retired servicemen and servicewomen get reacclimated to civilian life and get their next career off and running. So it's a great cause. The money's going to a great cause, and I'm honored to represent FedEx.
Do they double it for when Ryan Fitzpatrick wins the Air Award, Carson?
I hope they do, because that's my guy. He's my vote this week. That's my guy. I love watching Fitzy play. How about him running over the safety on the goal line for the touchdown last week? The guy is fearless.
It's unbelievable, Carson. He's
fearless.
It's amazing how he keeps on showing up, and he keeps on getting opportunities. And he keeps on doing stuff like what we saw last week in the Superdome. It's crazy. He's
magic in a bottle. I mean, you never know. He can rip off 400 yards passing. He can take off and run on third down and scramble around. He's one of my favorite teammates ever. And I know he's played on, it seems like, half the teams in the NFL and started for half the teams in the NFL. But a great guy and a ton of fun to watch. I can't wait to watch him play this week.
Carson Palmer here on the Rich Eisen Show. Josh Allen's getting the start this week, Carson, and you obviously are somebody who sat and watched for an entire year, and he's gotten to sit and watch for an entire half. What is your stance on how your career played out and whether it would have played out the way it did had you been thrown right in Cincinnati?
Well, it's almost impossible to think back and have and know. I had an unbelievable opportunity to sit behind John Kitna and watch and learn and see him be the quarterback and the leader and see when he spoke up and said things in front of the team. And I learned how to study and I learned how to take care of myself, but I also learned what it takes to be a leader at the NFL level. So it was phenomenal for me. Of course, every guy wants to play and wants the opportunity. But it was a great opportunity for me. I was hoping for Josh in Buffalo, he'd have a chance to sit back and watch for a little bit. He hasn't played a ton of football going from high school to junior college to Wyoming and now all of a sudden in the NFL at a whole different talent level. I'm excited to watch him play. I think the sky's the limit for him. I just hope everybody's as patient as they need to be with him because you saw him last week. It's not a great team yet. If they continue to build that team and he continues to get his time and they're patient and putting the right pieces around him, you have a fixture in your organization for years because he's going to be a great talent.
Well, there's a number 1 overall pick, fresh off of winning an Heisman Trophy, who's sitting in Cleveland right now, sitting in the state of Ohio. I mean, it's pretty much the same situation as you without instead it's Browns instead of the Bengals. What do you think Baker Mayfield is learning right now watching?
Well, I know firsthand. I mean, he's sitting with Tyrod Taylor, who's an unbelievable guy and as pro as a pro you could find. And then Drew Stanton, who had a chance to play for Arizona, who I also know is a great preparer. He understands how to break down film. He's helping Baker along, I'm sure, with that. But for Baker to sit back and watch those two vets who've both been in the league for a long time, watching them study, watching them prepare, and just waiting for his opportunity and hoping to capitalize on that opportunity. He's in a great situation with some great vets around him. Same thing with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's got Josh McCown, who it doesn't get any better than having Josh McCown to bounce ideas off of and ask questions on a Wednesday and then ask questions again on Sunday in the third quarter, and he'll always give you the right answer and a straight shot. Those two guys are in great spots. I don't know Josh Allen's situation per se. I just hope that he's got the right people around him and that'll help him nurture him into being a great player in this league.
Well, it's the whole thought. Obviously we can't know because we're not in the meeting rooms. We're not there, Carson Palmer. I get it. But, I mean, at least Sam Darnold, though, is getting the lumps out. Pick 6 on his first play, but he bounced back on Monday Night Football. And he still has Josh McCown there as a sounding board. You could see McCown go right up to him and be right there for him at his worst possible start, barring injury, of his career. Why wouldn't that be helpful for Baker Mayfield with Stanton and Tyrod Taylor to go through it right now?
Well, I think the Jets are a better team, and he has a better chance to go out there and succeed and win. I think in Cleveland you got a completely new system. Not as many of probably not as much talent as he probably has there. So it's so circumstantial for each guy. At some point, we're going to see Baker, I would think, during this year. But having a chance to sit back and watch and learn and listen and be a part of those meetings pre and post game, it's invaluable. And I think he's learning a lot and progressing. But we're going to see him here at some point.
A couple more minutes left with Carson Palmer here on the Rich Eisen Show, courtesy of the FedEx Airing Ground Award. And also the Football Life coming up on the NFL Network Friday night at 8 Eastern Time. Do you think we see Josh Rosen in your former stomping grounds this year?
I think we will at some point. Again, it's kind of similar to what we were talking about. That it's a new system, it's a new staff, it's a new offense, it's a new defense. It's a completely rebuilt offensive line. At some point, I think they'll put Josh in, but. They're being patient. They need to be patient. You have to be patient. So many fan bases want to flip the table upside down after week one. NFL is not college. In college, if you lose a game or you lose 2 games, your season's over and you're not playing for a national championship. But in the NFL, when you play 16 weeks and you can get into the playoffs at 9-7 and 10-6, you just got to be patient, especially with new coaches, new systems, new players at a bunch of positions. You've got to be patient. And week one is not indicative of what's going to happen the rest of the year. You just got to have patience and let the thing play out. And I think you'll see Arizona pick up steam and get rolling because at the end of the day, Arizona's got some really, really, really good players. I mean, you look at Larry Fitzgerald and David Johnson on the offensive side of the ball, and then you go over to defense, you look at Patrick Peterson and Chandler Jones. I mean, you have some of the best players in the game at their respective positions on that team. So patience is going to be key in Arizona, and I think they'll sneak up on some people by the end of the year.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your Football Life Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Carson Palmer of Football Life on NFL Network. Thanks in advance for saying you couldn't have done it without me and Susie, with Susie covering you in college and me in the pros, that we were there for you every step of the way. I appreciate you giving some time to us.
Who knows where I would be without you two?
Right? I mean, that's okay.
There's no doubt.
It's okay for you to say that, though.
There's no doubt. You're the best.
You too, man. I'm so excited to see this football life. You deserve it. You really do.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Rich.
You got it.
It's always good to catch up, man.
Always. Let's catch up again soon. Carson Palmer here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.